The room was quiet, the kind of sacred silence only found in places where passion meets precision. At the heart of the conservatory, nestled among the velvet drapes and golden chandeliers, sat a grand piano worth more than most people's homes. Students called it the Emperor, not just for its size or regal black finish, but because it belonged to Chloe Devereux, the prodigious daughter of one of New York's most influential billionaires. Chloe had talent, no doubt, but it was magnified 100-fold by her pedigree. She didn't just play music. She performed it with the confidence of someone who had been told all her life she was born for the stage. Her fingers danced effortlessly. Across the ivory, her eyes closed, her soul seemingly tethered to the notes. Around her, whispers of envy and admiration followed like shadows. But none dared interrupt. Not her classmates, not her teachers, and certainly not the janitor. Mr. Alton had worked in the conservatory for 8 years. He came early, left late, and moved with the quiet dignity of someone who'd long accepted that the world didn't see him. He swept floors, wiped windows, polished brass, and changed light bulbs, all while invisible to the young artists he served. Most students didn't know his name. Chloe certainly didn't. To her, he was just another fixture in the building, part of the background, like the ornate sconces or the creaky wooden doors. But Mr. Alton had a secret. Before he was a janitor, before the recession, before life had reshuffled the cards he was dealt, he had been a pianist. Not famous, not rich, but passionate, deeply, truly. Music had once been his language, his lover, his legacy. Then came the storm. A tragedy, a lost family, a broken home, and bills stacked higher than his piano books. So he sold the piano, buried the past, and picked up a mop. Yet every night, as he passed the conservatory's grand room and saw the Emperor bathed in moonlight, something inside him stirred. Not envy, just longing. A silent ache for something that once belonged to him. One rainy Tuesday, the impossible happened. The conservatory was nearly empty. A fire drill had cleared out most of the students, and Chloe had stormed out minutes earlier in frustration after missing a note during rehearsal. Mr. Alton entered the room to dry the floors. And then he saw it, the piano, open, unattended, alone. He didn't plan to touch it. He only meant to look, maybe run a cloth across the keys like he always did. But today felt different. Maybe it was the rain tapping like applause on the windows. Maybe it was the ache in his fingers that hadn't touched keys in 15 years. Before he realized it, he sat down. He lifted the lid with reverence, like a priest unveiling a relic. And then, with hands still rough from years of labor but guided by muscle memory, he played. The notes were fragile at first, uncertain. But then they flowed, slow, soulful, haunting. It was Rachmaninoff, then Debussy, then something he made up on the spot. Not for an audience, not for applause, for himself, for the part of him that never died. The music wasn't perfect, but it was honest. And unbeknownst to him, Chloe had returned. She stood at the door, stunned, her mouth slightly open. She had never heard the piano sound like this, not in her hands, not in anyone's. She didn't move, didn't speak. She simply listened, and, in that moment, something cracked open inside her. A realization, a revelation. It wasn't technique that made the music soar. It was truth.